And a very warm welcome to you all for joining this monthly Zoom call webinar where we focus on the use of the Goodwill meditation. Well, Goodwill offers this meditation, and there's a group of people who for decades have been practicing and working with the energy of this meditation every Wednesday. And we invite you to join in this work and to work with this particular energy formula every Wednesday. You can find a copy of the meditation on the World Goodwill website. So this call, in a sense, and particularly in the light of Wesak, many of us have participated in the meditation work during the Wesak festival, when forces of enlightenment shine their light into human consciousness. And as if there are vestments of the Buddha moving from the Christ, from the mind of the Christ, and touching the minds and hearts of deep thinkers who think with goodwill consciously and purposefully. That large group of thinkers at the heart of the Goodwill network. And so we can imagine that right now, these forces of enlightenment are clarifying purpose, helping to see through emotional blocks so that the emotions are calm and clear, and that thinkers can work with a quality of love as pure reason, as an intuitive knowing. The Goodwill meditation that we're going to be using together is centered on an identification with the forces of goodwill that exist within and among human beings at this time in our evolutionary development. It's really part of the work of using this meditation is to begin to change our own consciousness, to begin to see the presence of goodwill, to observe the presence of goodwill as it exists in human beings at this time. We tend to be so focused on problems and on the absence of goodwill that it's really important for a group of trained meditators and all of us to use a meditation like this to refine our ability to clearly see with open eyes the power of goodwill as it exists today in human beings, and the way in which, the different ways in which this energy of goodwill is being expressed. Regular practice of this meditation helps us to expand and deepen our sense of relationship with this essential goodwill energy, to see how powerful it is, see the role it's playing in human affairs, and also to see how this goodwill energy stretches in consciousness and reaches into the hierarchy of illumined minds, the great ones acknowledged by all the religious traditions, so that we can see this flow of, particularly right now, this flow of forces of enlightenment flowing from the inner side of life into the thinkers who work with concentrated goodwill, and flowing out to all members of the human family who are basically motivated by a wish and a desire to do what is good and right for the whole, for the well-being of the whole, and to spread love. The Goodwill meditation helps us to identify this flow of energy and to see through and to see past the veils of sentiment and often sort of ideological just wish life and fantasy life, to see the goodness, the fire of goodness that is present in humanity, and see whatever area our interest is in, see how that quality of goodwill is being expressed today, and to put our focus there rather than our focus on the problems. And if anything, to see the problems as being a relationship between these forces of goodwill in the world as exists in humanity now, and the challenges facing us and the next step forward in the evolution of human consciousness. So, friends, the way we're going to work is this on this webinar, we have a theme of the goodwill work in Nigeria. Nigeria is a country in West Africa. It's a huge country. And so first we'll do the meditation. Then I'll pass over to Dominic Dibble from our London office, who and London office of Goodwill works with co-workers throughout Nigeria. And Dominic will speak a little about that work. And hopefully we may possibly be able to, we were hoping to have a sharing from Nigeria, but it just depends on the internet quality, whether that's going to happen or not. And then there'll be a chance for sharing in a more general open discussion with all of you who are on this call. So I shall turn my video off and we can focus on this goodwill meditation. So we work together and we link in thought with all people throughout the world working today, now, with this Goodwill Meditation Group. Imagine ourselves as a group reflect upon the fact of relationship. Everything is relationship. It is the place of transformation. It is the place of work. It is the place where evolution is taking place. Each one of us is related to our family. To our community, the community of people where we live. Each one of us is related to our nation, to the being that is our nation, its soul and its personality, and to the evolutionary growth of the national life and the national consciousness. to the world of nations. Each one of us is related to the interrelationship of the different nations of the world. Each one of us is a unit of consciousness with responsibilities. And each one of us is related to the one humanity, all races and all nations, the one humanity greater than the sum of the parts. And with this sense of deep relationship, just work together using the Mantram of Unification. The souls of all are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. And now extend the group's sense of relationship. Reflect upon your own and humanity's relationship with all beings who dwell in the higher realms of mind and heart. The spiritual hierarchy of saints, rishis, bodhisattvas, and masters, honored by all the world religions and spiritual groups. And now imagine that those of us who are together on this call, together with everyone working with this meditation outline, imagine together we are standing within the center of the spiritual hierarchy. As a group, immersed in the consciousness of the heart of love, we recognize that for some, this heart of love is known as the Christ. For others, other names are used for the one at the center, the Maitreya, the Imam Mahdi, the Kalki Avatar, and other names. Immersed in the consciousness of the heart of love at the center of the hierarchy. Maintaining this high point of contact, let our thoughts reach out to include all members of the human family in whom the energy of goodwill is active and alive. And silently, speaking to the heart of the group, we say to ourselves, in the center of all love, I stand. From that center, I, the soul, will outward move. From that center, I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group, and throughout the world. And now visualize the energy of love flowing from the spiritual hierarchy through the men and women of goodwill and into the hearts and minds of all people, infusing them with goodwill, creating loving and harmonious human relationships. Please change the slide. And meditate on ways of spreading goodwill, creating right human relationships, and restoring peace on earth. Realize that in doing this work today, and particularly in doing it with regularity and rhythm, the group is helping build a channel between the spiritual hierarchy and humanity, a prepared channel through which the energy of goodwill may flow, bringing the qualities needed to unite humanity, to enable us as human beings to solve our problems and heal all differences and cleavages. And now, as we symbolically stand linked in thought with all people of goodwill in every part of the world as one goodwill group, sound the great invocation using the adapted version. Say it with deliberation and full commitment to its meaning, knowing that as we do this as a group, we are radiating the potent energies called for in the invocation to and through humanity. Next slide, please. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Dominique, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Steve, for that very beautiful meditation. So, as Steve mentioned at the beginning in the introduction, it's the London office who have the connection mainly with Nigeria, because London is responsible for Commonwealth countries, and of course, Nigeria is in the Commonwealth. And as some of you will know, Steve, of course, also worked in London before he came to New York. So he has a lot of experience of working with our Nigerian co-workers, and it was my joy and my privilege to take over some of the reins of that work. And we may get to this discussion later on, but Steve was telling me that there's actually quite a long history of working with Nigeria, even from Alice Bailey's time. And I'm just going to ask you, Michael, because it looks like Steve's the highlighted speaker at the moment. So I'm kind of hovering in midair here. Thank you. So yes, so we have been working with Nigeria for a long time, and it is a special joy to work with our co-workers there. And it just so happened that recently we've been in touch with two of the groups who have been working there for a long time, which was led to the idea of focusing on the Goodwill work in Nigeria today. And before we move on to the actual presentation and the discussion, I just thought it would be helpful to share a few facts about Nigeria, because I myself am woefully ignorant, I have to say. So I just went to, where most people go, went to Wikipedia to check how many people live there. And I was, well, I knew, or I thought I knew that it was the biggest country in Africa in terms of population, but I was actually quite surprised to learn it's the 7th biggest in the world, and maybe even the 6th. There seems to be some doubt whether Nigeria or Brazil are the 6th. So it's got about 210 million people. And of that population, over 40% are under 15. So a very young population as well. It's home to over 250 ethnic groups with over 500 languages, and the variety of customs and traditions among them so gives enormous cultural diversity. But having said that there's 500 languages, English is actually the official language, which makes it the 4th biggest Anglophone country in the world after India, Pakistan, and the USA. And there's the three largest ethnic groups are the Hausa, 27%, the Yoruba, 21%, and the Igbo, 18%. And the constitution of Nigeria ensures freedom of religion, and it's actually home to one of the world's largest Muslim populations and Christian populations simultaneously. And in fact, the 3 largest Christian church auditoria in the world are in Nigeria. 2 of them are over 100,000 seats in every service. So just imagine that. So it's clearly religion is a very strong theme in the Nigerian consciousness. And there's a kind of sort of division. Mostly the Muslim population is in the north, and the Christian, which is inland, and the southern part of the country onto the coast, that's mainly Christian. But there are also indigenous religions as well. So really quite diverse. And its largest city, Lagos, has a metropolitan area encompassing over 21 million people, which again, that's the 2nd largest metropolitan area in Africa after Cairo. And politically, it's divided up into a number of states. It's a federal republic with a president, an elected president. And it also has elements of the Western parliamentary system. And of course, the latter it's the historical legacy of British colonial involvement. And Nigeria gained its independence in 1960. And later on, we'll hopefully have time to show a few clips from a meeting hosted by the Benin Unit of Service, which celebrated the 60th anniversary of independence in 2020. Now, we were hoping that, as Steve again mentioned, that one of our Nigerian co-workers, Isakin Ogboro, would be able to present. However, unfortunately, and this is one of the things that, again, shows the challenges of service is different in different countries, perhaps, there seem to be some problems with electrical supply, not just the internet, but actual electrical supply at the moment in Nigeria, which means that it may not be so easy for people to communicate. Even as I said that, Isaken has popped up in the waiting room. So we will admit Isaken, and perhaps could we make Isaken, she's a co-host. Isaken, can you hear me? And if you can hear me, would you be able to unmute yourself? Perhaps not at the moment. So Isakin was going to give a presentation. I have been given permission to read that presentation aloud. So if she can't join us on audio right now, I will start that, but she can join in if we manage to get connected with her. And it's what I'm going to present to you is basically what the Benin unit of service that she's connected with have been doing for the last number of years in Nigeria. And the Benin unit of service is one of the units of service that's quite active. There are also a number of other units of service who've been doing sterling work throughout Nigeria, and we'll talk a little bit more about those as well. So, just to begin on the Benin unit of service, it was established as an educational charity, and it's been cooperating with Goodwill London as far back as the 1980s, and it had the opportunity to host Jan Nation and Steve Nation, both of the Lucis Trust, on a visit to Nigeria that they made in 1985, and more recently, they coordinated and hosted Steve on the Lucis Trust visit to Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, where he delivered a public lecture on the topic of transition to the Aquarian Age. That was on Saturday, the 7th of September, 2019. So Isikin shares that the activities of the Benin unit of service in the community in Edo State include, among others, they have a library service. They've actually got their own public library, has in stock all the Alice Bailey books published by the Lucis Press, and also other books in esoteric philosophy. And as you can imagine, that's a wonderful resource for any serious esoteric student. And it's open to the public on Mondays to Fridays from 9 till 4 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 till 12 noon. And the completed library building was actually commissioned by Steve on behalf of the Lucis Trust on Sunday, the 8th of September, 2019. They are very regular meditators, of course, and the library building serves as a meditation center as well. And the unit group members hold there the meditation on Sundays on the redirection of money for hierarchical purposes. And money realized from that meditation is donated to the Lucis Trust London for wider service. And they also have the group meditations for full and new moons every month at the library. Not only do they meditate, they also study. The unit members meet on Sundays to study the books on the problems of humanity, the labors of Hercules, other books and magazines relating to the creation of right human relations, and includes the Beacon magazine, the World Goodwill newsletters, and the Triangles Bulletin. Also, distribution of the Great Invocation as well is an important theme in Nigeria, and they have postcards, and there's been the opportunity to air the Great Invocation on television and radio, and it's widely publicized, especially during the week of World Invocation Day. Also, the WhatsApp platform is used to distribute the Great Invocation, and printed postcards are distributed to members of the public in the community from time to time, which are, of course, available from the Lucis Trust. And also, finally, they organize public seminars. So, and hopefully, as I said, we'll see a couple of short clips from one of those seminars. The Benin Unit of Service organizes public seminars on World Invocation Day, or the Festival of Goodwill, every year, which coincides with the London Arcane School Conference at the Gemini Festival. And the public seminar draws participants from diverse backgrounds of every human endeavour, such as education, religion, political class, civil servants, university lecturers, and students of higher institutions. And I know Isakan Ogro worked in the university sector for a time herself. I'm not sure if she's retired or not, but so she has a connection with educations in higher education institutions. And the seminar gives participants the chance to be enlightened on the use of goodwill and to create an enlightened society through the expression of right human relations, which is what, as we've been thinking about and discussing in our meditation, is all focused on. And their ongoing activities, well, they're currently, I'm sure, in preparation for the public seminar for the forthcoming World Invocation Day on the 29th of May 2021. And as it happens, that will be a very interesting day to do it on, because every year until this year, apparently, was formally celebrated as Democracy Day in Nigeria on May the 29th. It's now been changed to June the 12th. And papers will be presented which relate to the current Arcane School Conference keynote. And also, the Benin Unit of Service publishes its own Bulletin of Goodwill, which is called Emerging Consciousness. And articles in the bulletin, of course, focus on the use of the energy of goodwill as a tool for creating right human relationship in the community. So thank you very much, Isaken, for that wonderful summary of the work that you do. I don't know if you're able to speak, if you can unmute yourself, maybe you would like to say a few words to, let me just see if I can ask Isaken to unmute herself and see if she can do that. Doesn't seem to be working. It could be the device she's on is not working. So that gives you a sense of what one very active. Isaken, can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Great to hear you.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm glad that you're able to present the summary of the work of the Benin Unit of Service in support of World Goodwill. We thought I won't be able to link in, but I'm glad. The Benin Unit of Service has really been working with World Goodwill in our community so that we can spread the ageless wisdom, the use of great invocation, and the energy of goodwill in our community, in our place of work, so that people realize that the problem of our community and nation is lack of goodwill. So if we understand this energy of goodwill, then we'll build a better society. So that is our goal. Our Benin Unit of Service has been doing this. And we felt that meditation is one way to tap into this energy of goodwill so that we become instruments of goodwill in our homes, in our community, and wherever we go. So those are the focus, plus reading of the Tibetan's book, spreading the Alice Bailey books, because we have in the library, people visit. During our seminars, we advertise the Alice Bailey books so that they are attracted to come and read, so that we can expand our consciousness. So the summary is already, you read it, and I'm glad. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Absolutely welcome. I just, I don't know if you heard the little bit I said at the start about how religion is such a significant factor in Nigerian consciousness. And I was just wondering, as you were speaking there, how the Great Invocation as a prayer is received by people. How do you find that when you try to share it with people, what their reaction is? Is it usually positive, and is it usually quite an easy thing to share?
Yes, it's not at the beginning, it was not easy to share. We have to put in brackets that the Great Invocation is a word prayer. So we put it there, word prayer. So because our community, they are very used to prayer.
Yes.
So the way to attract them is to say that the Great Invocation is word prayer, that this prayer is meant for the whole human race to bring in light and love, to irradiate the consciousness of the whole human race. And our community, as we say it, we are helping to build this channel through which this light and love can reach us and the whole human race. So that's how we're able to, for a long time, we're giving it out as word prayer to churches and all. The only difference is that they will say, how wide let light stream into the mind. So they relate it, is it to other esoteric group like Ekanka or Grey Message, or we say no, but this is a universal prayer and it's meant for everybody, no matter your religious belief, no matter your group, no matter where you are. You help us to say it so that light can radiate into our consciousness in the nation, to help us build our nation and contribute to the world community. So that's how we are able to do it, and airing it in the air on radio. In short, at one time we're airing every 12 noon on radio, but another religious group now copied. They now brought in, the Catholic people now brought in their Angelus. So it was like competition because we were not airing.
Well, I think that's a good competition to have, isn't it? Let's see who can do the most praying.
They were also bringing in their, don't allow us continue like that. But during the week of World Goodwill Day, we make sure it's on radio trial, it's on television, those broadcasting service. So they air it and all. So people come to know us for a long time that, this is what Goodwill people prayer. This is what prayer. This is Goodwill people. So those who know me will say, Miss Ogbero, your Goodwill prayer, we saw it on TV. We saw it. I say, yes, you should help us to read it. Help us to be saying it along with your prayer every day. So that's how we are able to reach our community.
Beautiful. That's lovely. I just noticed that there is actually another co-worker, Harry Dewey, has come onto the call. I wonder, Harry, do you want to say anything? Are you available to? Do you want to try unmuting yourself? Maybe let me just see if I can ask you to unmute. Oh, are you there, Harry?
Can you hear me?
Wonderful. Yes, we can hear you, Harry. Yeah.
Good. I made you a very grand promise.
Oh.
That I will settle down because this is a very good opportunity to actually give you the history, of the story of the growth of lighted goodwill in Nigeria, starting from the time of Sunday Udo, who was the first to establish the unit of service up until the time that we were honored when Mary Bailey came to Nigeria in 1971. That resulted in the creation of the first effective unit of service, which is the Lagos unit of service.
I see. That was
1970.
in 19. Did you say, sorry, Mary Bailey in 1971?
Mary Bailey, yes.
Oh yes, right. Okay.
He came in through South Africa, and it was a wonderful occasion, which I told you I will take my time to write down so that you can paste it on the website.
Of course we will.
Then from Mary Bailey and Lagos Unit of Service, the work went through flows and ebbs, as any other thing in life goes.
Of course.
Lagos Unit of Service persisted for a long time. Then, as we were going into the ebb, Steve and Gen Nation came to Nigeria, and it was a very great privilege. Myself and Val to have moved them from Lagos to Benin to Owerri to Port Harcourt on road. So they were able to see Nigeria and the Nigerians. It was a very, very very wonderful occasion. So out of that visit was born what we called at that time Nigerian Group for Goodwill. Nigerian Group for Goodwill had its own history, which I will narrate in full. But one of the achievements of the group was the establishment of a magazine on relationships.
Oh, right.
So I happen to be the editor-in-chief of the relationships. Then the work continued, and again through its ebbs and flows until we started holding online meditation.
That's right.
And the group now became known as Africa Goodwill Meditation Group. This has been functional without break, month by month, since 2013.
Yes, I see your emails come in every month. Yeah.
So we already now we made transition. We've made good transition from one platform to another in order to get in more people into the meditation system. Then, of recent, I think the last new moon, we started new moon meditation.
Right.
And using the opportunity to start Problems of Humanity study course. That was the main activity on our new moon, is to study the problems of humanity, of which I have told you that we would like to be getting each newsletter that covers, so that we can use it to study. And we avoid one method of work. We don't give lectures. We don't do teacher and students. We follow the methodology of active learning silently. That's the leader is a facilitator. He just raise questions and people will think about it. Everybody gives his own opinion. So a group is more enlightened, and we are beginning to get more and more people who now join the online meditation meetings. So that's briefly, it's when I do the write-up, then I'll be able to fill in the gaps.
Oh, of course. I'm sure there are many, many very interesting gaps you could fill in there, but I think you've given us a very beautiful idea of the sweep of service that you've been involved in, and Isaac's involved in, and other co-workers as well have been involved. Steve, do you want to say anything? Do you want to add anything at this point?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Hi, Harry. Hi, Isaacin. It's so beautiful to hear your voices, and it's so wonderful to shine a light on Nigeria and the work in Nigeria. I was very touched to read your comment in the chat box, BC, who began your comment by saying, "I'm proud to be Nigerian." And in this work, I think, so you should be. The history of the work that if we look right now, we're looking at two groups, the group in Lagos that Harry and Val, Harrison and Val have been working with for so long, and the work in Benin, the beautiful work in Benin that Isaacin and the group in Benin have again been pioneering for so long. It is outstanding in the history of goodwill work around the world, and it's good to recognize it, and to recognize something of the enormous difficulties that face co-workers. Those of us who live in other countries have really no awareness of the difficulties and challenges facing esoteric students and servers in Nigeria. Just the diversity, the problems of travel and so on. And out of that, it produces a quality of persistence and a self-reliance that is, I think, I've always thought makes a unique contribution to the group life of esoteric workers around the world. Something unique and particular is coming out of this experience of co-workers in Nigeria. I don't want to go on just because I know that there's going to be another program that will develop a little bit on the work done, because as well as the Lagos group, as well as doing the Goodwill Meditation on internet, has also established a very concrete service activity looking at sustainable development. Out of that, and through the World Goodwill's work with the International Year of Light, UNESCO International Year of Light, Harry is the Nigerian representative to UNESCO for the Year of Light, and traveled to Paris to UNESCO conferences during that year. And subsequently, the group is organizing very interesting projects on sustainable development. So this is to me, this is a sign, the work that's being done. If we look at just the Benin Library, there's so many stories that could be told about that, but the persistence of that work. And then if we look at the work being carried out through the Lagos group, and I could well speak as well about the work from Port Harcourt, the continuity in spite of difficulty of keeping a group together for full moon work, for regular weekly study meetings in Port Harcourt it's something that all of us, it's certainly for me, it's a very humbling experience to see this quality of this work and what it brings to the whole group life. So just to say hats off to Nigeria, and for the whole of the planetary group working with this Goodwill Meditation Group, may we be expansive, and may we recognize that this group work truly embodies humanity. It is neither Western nor Eastern, neither Northern nor Southern. It is human beings drawn each from their own way into a discipleship path, and through that path, through alignment with the vertical, turning to serve on the horizontal. So thank you, particularly Isaacin and Harry. It's good to have you here, and all our many co-workers throughout that hugely populous country in West Africa, Nigeria. Thank you.
So I think we're probably drawing to a close now, and I think we'll close now with a moment of silence. Thank you.